How often do you get away? Isn't it the most stressful time ever? How much is it costing you? How much are you spending on all of this? What if I told you there was another way? A way where you can find the best time ever without actually going anywhere. I mean, it just sounds bonkers, doesn't it? And shall we find out? And as always with these little things, I'll start with a little haiku and then we'll break it down. No need to journey to places far away. All you need is here. And here we go. I've got like a little bit of paper there. And paper, I'll say, oh, no expense spared here, I call it MVBS and MR. There's like 5 little steps that we can take right there to kind of like take you on a bit of a journey elsewhere, as opposed to kind of like going through those crazy ideas that we need to do. And when you think no need to journey, and I already can hear people saying, like, oh, what are you talking about? I like going to these faraway places. I like going on explorations, and that's your prerogative if it truly comes from within you. But what I'm talking about is those holidays where you're compelled. It's like an obligation. It might be that, oh, it's summertime. Well, I suppose we need to go because it's that time of year again, and it's expected of us to go there. That for me is not a holiday. That's almost like turning up and going to work. going going for it. It's like a chore, isn't it? And you think about all the grief you've got to go through. You've got to go to the travel agent. Well, not so much a travel agency. You've got to go online or whatever you do to find the right flights, find the right time of year. And then you get all that, and you think, oh, crikey, moly, I've still got to get the travel insurance, especially if you're going abroad. So then you got to look at the abroad, and then you start looking at how much all this is costing you. It's not cheap. And then going off that, you got to make sure that you might synchronise your time off work. You might think, I've got the perfect day here. You go to work and say, right, okay, boss, I'd like to have, let's say, the 5th of July. And he goes, yeah, you what? I've got 6 people off, mate. It's not happening. And you think, oh, damn, I've got to go back to the drawing board, start all over again. It's all these factors that are going on, and in the meantime, your partner's probably doing the same. She's probably saying to you, like, well, I've got to synchronise my time off work if you're both working, for example, and you may have children, and you think, oh, we can't just go somewhere because the kids are got to be off school, and if I take them out of school, then we get fined. And all the while, there's all this grief, and be honest with you, you probably don't want to go. You think you do. We convince ourselves that we'll go to a place where all these tourists are. And when you finally get there, it'll probably be like me, get there, it's full of English people. And you think, oh, what's the point of that? I could have stayed at home. And this is what I'm talking about. Now, for those rare souls who are going on a bit of a sort of like, I call it a wanderlust, actually going places with a kind of like a sort of like it's like the Fool card in tarot. If you ever know your tarot, you got the guys just going on a mad adventure. Well, it's kind of a different energy, and I'm certainly not going to hold you back on that and say, yeah, you go for that. Enjoy life and go these different places. But what I mean is, it's all the grief that comes with it. It's all the no pun intended, the baggage. That baggage weighing you down, thinking, oh, crikey moly, it's just so much that I have to think about. And the whole point of a holiday is to de-stress, but you're keeping stressed to de-stress. So when you think of it like that, it really doesn't make much sense, does it? It doesn't make sense to go through all of these little hoops and whatnot just to go to Benidorm or whatever it is that you want to go to, and just for a bit of hot sun or whatever. And then when you get there, in this days of global warming and stuff, you'll probably be incinerated anyway. You just come back ill or eaten alive by mosquitoes. It's kind of like, is that really what you want? If you do, then be my guest. Go on like you always do, hook up on the travel agents and so forth. But remember, these videos are coming from kind of a spiritual angle and trying to look at life a little bit differently. And when you think about going to all these faraway places, it's all that element of time as well. So let's imagine you were to go to some distant land, say from in East Asia, or to, if you was going to go right out to Oceania, it's all that travel time and not actually doing anything. You're just sitting down, it's like you're sitting in a plane and you got to change and get all your passports out and good knows what else. All the time you're getting frazzled. Your energy is being frazzled. It's being twisted and turned in all these directions as you're plummeted from one side of the globe to the other. Then you find out you're all out of sync. All the hours are, are back to front. Night is day, day is night, and seasons are upside down. It's like, winter is summer, with summer weather. It's it's all a bit screwy. It's a bit knocks our centre out of alignment. And then when it's all over, it goes, and that's the worst thing, isn't it? The holiday kind of goes like that. Yeah, you'll have some happy memories, I'm sure, but then you got to go get all back again, and then go back in reverse. And then what? Even worse, after you've had all this nice time away, you got to go back. You got to go back to the humdrum again. You got to go back in the routine and thinking. Within a week, you think I need another holiday. If it's even a week, sometimes it's a day. I've been in that situation. You think, oh, there, I had 2 weeks off. I need another one because we've got ourselves knocked out of alignment. And this is what I'm saying. We don't have to do that. We don't have to travel miles and miles away just to sort of follow some kind of crazy conviction that we have to. Because we've been told to. We're meant to go away on holiday. We're meant to get ourselves in the car or on a plane, go through all that grief, when really you can have the best time right where you are. And this is the thing, everything you need, everything you desire for these kind of moments is here within you. And this is about the inner journey, the journey inside. If you journey inside, that compulsion, that conviction to go to other places, it kind of melts away because you realize it's not necessary. It is totally not necessary. It's in this day and age, we have the digital world to take you there anyway if you wanted to. But ask yourself, why are you getting this wanderlust? Where is it coming from? And by all means, I understand the concept of exploration, but I'm talking about real exploration. I'm not talking about tourist traps and package holidays, which really isn't really, you're just like a sardine can going from one place to another and then back again. How are you doing? You hop here, you hop back. Hop here, it's like that old video game, Frogger. Dunk, 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 dunk. And then you go to the next level and so on. But instead of actually going somewhere and getting away from all that and actually soaking up the ambience of those places, this is what we would love to do. We would love to be in that space. And if you find this kind of stuff interesting, why not put in a bookie, Bookie, in the comments, and I'll send you a little form that you have to fill in, and then I can furnish you with this little booklet because all these words, a lot of these words, actually putting into these little e-booklets, and it's a nice way to kind of like absorb it. It's nice when you just read it. I know a lot of us don't read these days. Forget that. That's why you're watching these videos. But it's just another medium, for want of a better word, to absorb this. This one is it's just one on its own. It's about 1,500 words. It's a nice little graphic kind of like PDF I put together. I'd love to share that with you. Just put that in the form and it's all yours. Simple. And while I'm on this subject, have a little look at the community posts I put up as well, because again, I put these little haikus to fancy little graphics. And believe you me, they have strong spiritual words there. And if you just allow them to kind of like become one with you, that will really help. So now let's come to my MVBSMR. So we start with M, shall we? So this is how we journey without going on holiday. And for many who indulge in their spiritual practice, it's going to be pretty obvious, but it's nice to go over the basics. The first one now, you can see that in this rather terrible scrawly writing. I do hope it hasn't reversed. Meditate. Meditate. Take the time to go within. When you meditate, the need to take yourself elsewhere will just fade because you can be in that meditative state as long as you feel it's necessary. Everything calms down. And did you know with meditation, if you really wanted to, you can actually do some of these astral projections. Please make sure they are safe and sensible ones, but it is literally listening to those places and kind of like protecting your energy to those places of the world. Um, and just think to yourself, just like take your awareness, think to yourself, I would like to go to the Taj Mahal. Imagine yourself going on that journey. You've got your own concepts, your own preconcepts about what it would like to be there. Imagine yourself going there in your own way. Just kind of like be in that energy. This is taking the meditation step at a stage further. I realise that. But you could do that. But personally, just stay in your own space. Stay in your space. Be in that kind of like environment and just be at peace. Journey within. Journey within is a different adventure altogether. In there you can find everything. Anything and everything is in that space. But you kind of got to have to take the effort to do that. But then it's not no effort, is it? V. So here we go. V is the next one. And V is visualize. So again, I'm coming more, it's kind of like the astral projection a little bit, but visualize. Really, so when I said to you, imagine yourself going to the Taj Mahal or whatever, then just imagine what can you see there? How many people are there? What colour is the building? Um, what's the weather like? What's on the water there? And imagine your feet going across the path towards the Taj Mahal. As you get to the Taj Mahal, what's the door? And what's it like when you step inside? Now, I've never been there, I'll be honest with you, but I can visualize, I can use my imagination. And these are incredibly powerful tools that we can use. And you create your own reality when you're doing that. If your imagination is taking you there, then your energy is there. Your physical body obviously is here, but your awareness in its own way is making that journey. It's making that link. It's dreaming up these incredible visions. And I will say to you, allow your own imagination to run riot. You know, imagine seeing are there all flowers on the floor in the Taj Mahal? Is there what smells are coming up? Can you smell the incense, for example? And because it's your reality, you can put in there what you like. You can have that thing. I mean, if you wanted to, if you wanted an East End Barra Market in there, you could do it. I mean, okay, people say, well, that's not very authentic, but it's your reality. It's what you create. It's have fun with that imagination of yours. Create, get creative, get your almost spiritual paintbrush and paint away the most beautiful picture you can imagine. And in a crazy way, you're making that reality. So visualize and don't underestimate the powers of your own visualization skills. And it's pretty good for you to get that creative side going for you. Okay, so that's V. So the next one for B, we have breathe. So breathe, kind of like imagine that you are breathing and just calming everything down. When we just take our attention to our breath, it's another journey, isn't it? Now, this time I'm taking ourselves away from journeying elsewhere. Now we're really journeying within, because that's where we're going to take the next bit for the next couple. It's about the journey within. So breathe, just a simple act of breathing, closing your eyes, and you can work several ways with your breath. You could do conscious breathing where you kind of breathe in, hold maybe for 4, breathe out for 4, breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 4. You can kind of get into that cycle if you want. Or you can do maybe just be quite relaxed and just get your natural flow without doing that too much. Try and breathe in and out through your nose as well. That really helps purify your lungs. Or you can kind of like imagine as you breathe in that you're collecting all the stuff you don't want. I often do this with my meditations or when I'm doing healing practices. Just imagine getting everything together that doesn't belong in your energy and breathe out with a big sigh. Just let go that way. Or you could do maybe more martial arts breathing. When I used to do karate, we would and kind of like let it out that way. If you want to be quite dynamic, there's so many different ways of breathing. But if you do it, just taking that time just to think only of your breath, the journey then takes you right here, right now. And that's what's important. We get into that space, the space of our peace, quiet, and just calm. Inner peace and calm. Isn't that what we all want? Certainly be going on these crazy jaunts onto the aeroplanes, doesn't it? And then we come to S. S again really is building on the previous concept of coming into the present, into our own space in the present moment. It is silence. Silence, believe you me, those kind of meditation where you can just be in that space and just observe. Obviously, I'm not going to go silent on this video because you will probably very quickly go off. But the whole point of like sitting in the silence and just listening, and you'll start to pick up things you'd never even imagined. You could hear the birds tweeting in the background somewhere, stuff over, like, maybe the airplanes flying overhead, a radio from maybe 3 doors down. Because normally you're not, because you're in here and you're stuck here, you're in your eyes, and it's going to do this, boom, 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 boom. When you stop and actually go to silent mode and allow that space, peace comes. Peace, tranquility, your blood pressure starts to drop, you become present, and then you'll probably get some kind of, little idea of what to do with the rest of the day, because you're in a good place. That's what we all want, don't we? And I would say this as well, with the breath work, the meditation, and the visualization, and the breath, silence. If you've got a garden or something, or a balcony, sit out there and just close your eyes and just absorb that energy. Absorb the energy from outside. Help with your breath as well, especially if you're in a nice, clean environment. But even if you're in a city, it's still better to be outside than inside, I think. Don't you? And just allow that kind of like cycle to take place. Appreciate that, Grant. And then you really will pick up all those noises that normally escape you. Now, I recognise in this time of year in the UK, I'm not sure where you are in the world, it might be different for you. But if you're in the UK, we understand it's a bit nippy to be going outside. So you can adapt. You might have to wrap up a little bit warm. Or you could go another way and just maybe go for a walk somewhere. Go for a walk in the woods or just around the block a couple of times. Feel the energy. Just feel how that sits with you. This is important that we take that time for that kind of feeling to become with us. And again, we are journeying. You're journeying to your back garden, but you're going on such a much bigger adventure. And this is the thing. What we're not mentioning is the journeying into your awareness. Journey into your awareness, becoming expansive, becoming into that space where suddenly you start feeling this sense of connection. And for the real kind of like, how can we say it, the ones who want to push it, their awareness you can take wherever you want. And this is what I'm talking about, visualizing yourself going to the Taj Mahal. But if you're up for it, imagine a distant planet. Let's all go to Venus. Imagine your awareness going off to a distant planet. I mean, why not? We've got imaginations. And again, your awareness will take you there. Take yourself off to Jupiter. Hell, take yourself off to Andromeda or wherever you want to go. The potential is limitless. It's this that holds us back. This is the one that says, I need to get on a flight to Benidorm. Let's try and think differently for that. And by the way, if you think I'm having a pop at those people going on these packages, I'm not. I'm really not, because that feels right for you. What I am saying is, though, we can do it differently. And then we come to the final one. MR, Mr. What's Mr. all about? And again, this is quite a good one, I feel. So what I've got there is mindful reading. Not reading, reading. Oh, I'm sure it's mindful in reading. So, mindful reading. What do I mean by mindful reading? So let me just get a book here. A lot of us do this, don't we? We'll kind of look along and we just go. And here, I'm going to do a bit of travelling right now. When a railway finally came to Sevenoaks, brought a new era to town and business, and we're just going blah, 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 blah. Mindful reading, it's more like this. When the railway, so imagine yourself, you visualising the railway, finally came to Sevenoaks. So I haven't been to Sevenoaks that many times, but I've got an idea what it's like. So imagine myself going to this place called Sevenoaks. If you've never even heard of Sevenoaks right now, you think, I've never even heard of that. Picture it in your mind. Imagine what Sevenoaks would be like for you. It brought a new era. So now I'm thinking of a bit of a change going on there. So that change, maybe it's from maybe the 1940s to the 1950s, maybe the 60s to the 70s. Imagine that era spinning round. We see what's going on here. We're travelling. I'm taking you on an adventure somewhere. To the town as business people. So now imagine that Sevenoaks has got these business people wandering through Sevenoaks, who usually lived in London. So now we're getting another story. These business people have migrated from London. They've come out of London. And I'm migrated out of London out there. I might be the spiritual cockney, but I don't live in London anymore because it felt right to come here. But you might take the cockney out of London, but London is very much still in this cockney, trust me. And now found they could live in the country. So these Londoners now, like myself, find this new life outside in a completely different way and commute to the capital. And with all this commuting to the capital, suddenly there's a whole new way of life being developed. They come out to go back in again. It's like breath, isn't it? It's almost like the city's breathing. So it's breathed out all these cockneys and breathe them in again so they can work. Breathe them out, breathe them in. But you see there how that little, I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but you can see how that can work. How you can travel with the mind, with a little bit of mindful reading, going someplace. So you could get your old Taj Mahal book and think, well, I've never been there in my life. You get a guidebook. And as you read, don't just scan over the words. Don't just say it was built in blah, 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 blah in this place. Kind of imagine if you see it was built in that year. What does that mean to you? What does that kind of conjure up? What does it evoke? What does it kind of like generate? Imagine just all these like ideas spiraling and going into these wonderful new directions. That way, and this is what a good writer will do, he will get you there. He will, or he or she, sorry to be sexist there, I'm very naughty Gary. But imagine they're actually pulling you into that environment, into that world, into that realm. And just thinking to yourself, I love this. This is amazing. But you're not going to get that wow factor if you don't do that. So let's just go over those points once more. So we got meditate, visualize, breathe, silence, mindful reading. And even if you just take one of those aspects, that's fine. But I would say to you, experiment, play with it, think differently, think a little bit unusually, and then you save yourself all that grief. I don't want all that grief, do you? Really? Maybe the missus might say differently to you, or maybe the mister might say to the missus differently. But the main thing is try to just kind of like find that kind of like space just for you. Because at the end of the day, that's what counts. The journey within. Journey within, find your peace. I thank you for listening, and as always, I love having you in my humble abode. And it's special thanks to those who are still here right now. And how do I know you're still here? Just put a little kind of like little quote in for me in the comments. Just put accidental tourist, and I will know that you've watched this whole video and you will be in that exalted place of honor with all these lovely, lovely people. Much love to you all. Take care, and I'll catch you at the next one.